Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain, and I am so excited to have a return of another guest that we've had in times past. Echo Storm is with us once again. We had a lovely time on Echo's stream. This time it's just he and I talking. Echo, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure. I'm very glad to be back.
And it's been great to get to know you a little bit more since then. It's already been, I think it was February when you and I had our interview, so getting to know
Wow.
you since then. It's been very, very cool. Love to see that your editing with Fatality Falcon is continuing to go well. The Clips channel, we can start with that first. That's been going well recently. You want to talk about the inspiration for that, how that came to be?
Yeah, well, Fatality and I, we realized that starting a clip channel would be obviously beneficial for our main channel as well. So now we have a channel just for short, 30-second or less clips of him doing what he does, being stylish, being disrespectful. It's really, it's the perfect match because you got Fatality's Captain Falcon, which everyone loves, and it's just the best of those moments. So it's been good to expand our growth and our reach through that. The channel just met partnership requirements, so we we're finally going to start making some AdSense on that, and it couldn't have gone any easier, honestly. It's something that we should have done a long time ago. It feels like, but it's been good.
When shorts first became a thing, a lot of people were trying to hop on that, and it seemed like there was also a secondary growth or expedition into, well, we don't really like the format where it's like an iPhone or an Android screen where it's face up and you have to change the formatting of the video. What if we just had a channel just specifically for short clips? Maybe that will somehow hit the algorithm. I mean, even Vines occasionally catch fire still. So I don't know who did that first, but whoever did was very smart. And a lot of people, of course, naturally latching onto an idea that seems to work for the YouTube algorithm gods, just catching on and getting some views. That's awesome to
Yeah,
hear that partner requirements have been met. That's very cool.
it was a breeze. I mean, the hardest one is reaching 4,000 watched hours across a bunch of clips that are 30 seconds. One 10-minute video is going to get a lot more watch hours than a 10-second clip. So it's been crazy, but some of the videos have even outperformed the main channel, which is just ridiculous. It has just been blowing up like crazy. It's definitely YouTube pushing the short form content um, just very heavily this last year for sure, including shorts. Although we haven't been able to post any shorts, so as soon as YouTube says that we're eligible for that as well, I think it's going to continue to go crazy.
And for you, it's not nearly as much work, right? Or am I missing something?
It's an additional amount of work, but of course it's less than having to edit a full highlight video because that requires a lot of passes and polish. In fact, for just getting the channel off the ground, the Clips channel, it's mainly been finding the best moments from the main channel. Like when he battled MKLeo or Chunky Kong or any other famous alt player or just any of the moments that have been iconic for the main channel across the history of Ultimate. So it's been easy to kind of regurgitate those and transcribe them to this clip format, and obviously the fans have been receptive for that. So
Very, very cool. And you're still continuing to get ever so closer to the 100K subscriber. I know that there have been times of the past few months where it's kind of been like going all in on the channel and then having to take a few steps back. But how do you continue to, when the moments of inspiration come and when you're both feeling in like you're in the good zone to continue working, what gets you to that spot where you know that the two of you, you and Fatality, will be able to continue to try and grow the YouTube channel?
it's been a process for sure. I think quarantine and COVID and lockdown has been a challenging process for at least myself. I can speak there, and I think for Fatality as well. And so there have been moments of inspiration and drive that have just overshadowed the rest. But it's been steady, and we're really like moving into this fall with the right mindset. And however long it takes, we're still going to be posting on the channel, and the viewers have been great. So it's like 100K, 97K, we'll hit that landmark, but then the eyes are forward again, like it's 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 all just going up eventually. So that we've been feeling good about it, and we're going to be debuting some new changes to the channel even in the upcoming month, hopefully, that you guys will get to see, and I think it'll be really good for the channel.
Awesome. It's been great to see you and Fatality continue to do well together as a team, and then for yourself, Echo. I know that just based on getting to know you more, that it's there's just been times where it's been okay, things are going all right, and then times where it's not going as well. So hearing that you continue to find ways to work through that. Of course, you have a great support system as well. Really happy to hear that things are going well at the moment for you. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, or I should say, I buried the lead. The main thing we're going to talk about is something that is in the background of your screen there. You have a Beyond the Summit t-shirt. And yes, for those of you who have been dragged here through either Twitter or otherwise, this guy right here, Echo, was at Smash Summit 11. You were one of the lucky people who somehow beat Logan to buying a VIP pass. That was a great start. And then you got to go. So I would love to hear about it without overwhelming you with questions. I guess the best way to start it is, why get a Summit 11 VIP pass if mainly you're in the realm of Ultimate now? And I know we had talked a little bit about how, in general, you and Smash, you don't mind there being a little bit more distance there most of the time, but going all in on this, it's a trip. You had to fly, I'm assuming, or well, no, you did.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's just talk about why you wanted to snap up one of those VIP passes.
Well, I think I think one of the main things for me, and maybe for other people as well, just judging based on how quickly those VIP passes sold out, 2 minutes they were gone. So I was very lucky, to say the least, that I was able to snag one. But offline melee is back, and people wanted that feeling of being at an offline event and being in a crowd and watching the best players in the world like go at it. Like that is melee. So as much as I am grateful for the Slippy era, uh, nothing tastes quite the same. So it was for me. I needed to get that feeling back because it's why I do it. It's why I love Smash. It's Melee is my home as a spectator, as much as I have made a home for myself in Ultimate as a creator as well. But I just I knew that this was going to be a monumental and historic event as far as Melee's history goes, and I do think it was that I just had to be there. It would have I mean it was a once in a lifetime opportunity.
You're not kidding. Well, I don't want to spoil too hard. I think there should be a certain amount of discovery here, but you're right. It was definitely historic. So we should start from where you get the VIP pass. It's time to plan. It's time to do all that. Logistically speaking, this is something that you haven't had to go through for a while. So was it like
Yeah,
kind of
traveling
like,
for Smash.
yeah, you're thinking to yourself, oh, actually, I do know how to navigate through all of these stupid airport websites or whatever to find best ticket prices, or did you have to pick up some of that again?
I don't think much has changed as far as how I approach like my logistics but I will say that headed to California and like a summit trip is not the cheapest thing. That
Right.
VIP pass is a cool rack in and of itself. So it's like I was trying to find the best way to be as budget friendly as possible because I knew I'd just be there and I'd be spending money because I'm going to be having a good time. So I tweeted like, does anyone have a couch for me in California? And luckily, I got a few nibbles from that, and I ended up finding two different people who were generous enough to house me for a portion of the event. And once I had my plane ticket secured, and I was willing to do anything as far as like getting there on a plane, so there wasn't much decision making going on there, but these people were so kind as to give me rides to and from the airport and the Summit studio, which was sometimes not that close to their house. And it was just like the hospitality within the Smash scene is unparalleled. And that was just a really cool part of the trip as well, beyond attending this awesome event, just feeling that warmth of the community again, where they're gonna, just do anything to make this trip possible and special. So, you know, they made it so easy for me and really elevated the trip to a different level and made it just so easy to plan.
Ah, I love that. It's such a small thing if you think about the grand scheme of the entire world, but just somebody going out of their way, actually two different people, like you said, going out of their way to give you rides, to open up their house to you, to open up their home is is everything to me. Like I just love hearing something like that. And so it makes the trip a lot easier to do as compared to finding a hotel and then paying for Uber and doing probably twice as much easily, probably three times as much if you had to do stuff like that. So coming through for you, even though the only connection that you have is the smashing thing, is the melee thing. I just love that so much, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like it's like a secondhand experience kind of a thing. Like if somebody said to me, "There's a really sick event happening nearby, Lancaster," which I don't know why there would be, but can we get some housing? I'd be like, "Are you kidding me? Please tell me everything when you get back." But they'd come back and they'd be like, "Nope, nope. I have done enough socializing for today. We can talk tomorrow or whatever." Figure that out. But that's really really cool, and you get to the first day. It's not the media kind of day on Wednesday where the VIPs allowed to go in on Thursday of Summit.
So I actually I did not attend the media day of Summit. I was at a PM tournament because I am a PM player as well as a Melee fan and an Ultimate creator. I just like
Ooh.
Smash. So there was my first like time playing Project M since this all went down and I moved away from Colorado, my local scene, was a chance to play in California, and I showed up to this tiny little like Smash Fest in someone's house, and it's just the SoCal top 10. Like, it's the most stacked like fest that I have ever been to, and I just got absolutely rocked, and that was like a feeling I had not felt in a long time. It felt very good. So I actually did not start attending the summit itself until the first day, which was pretty casual, but there was some melee playing going on, and I I just chose to go on that day so I could have a whole day for PM and hanging out with this person who was housing me initially.
That's really cool. What's it like walking into the Summit Studios?
I got to say, it was everything that I had imagined. I mean, you walk through the doors of this massive and beautiful studio, and you're just like greeted with friendly melee faces, and you walk down this long hallway full of pictures of former Summit champions, pop-offs, Armada. It's truly like a nostalgic feeling as someone who's been watching since the first Smash Summit, just to see all these victories that I remember watching, and to feel like I was going to be there for the next picture was crazy. And you just walk in and it's beautiful, and there's a whole half of this giant room dedicated to melee setups, and the other is a totally tricked out living room, perfect for a watch party. And so and then of course on the other side of that wall is the couch, and the rec room where the players walk up the stairs, and you get your canes and your catered food, and it's just like, wow, I'm really here, like. And I pretty much, as soon as I walked in the door, I was greeting people and saying hi to familiar and friendly faces, and so it was just an immediate, like, I was surrounded with melee again.
If you don't mind me asking, who are the familiar faces in particular that you were looking forward to seeing and that they knew you, the reunions that you got to have?
So, first and foremost, I got to run into Hugs 86.
Let's go.
Uh,
Let's
you
go.
know, he was there as a commentator. I was very happy to see that he made the lineup. And for those who don't know, I worked with Hugs with his YouTube channel for a year and a half, but we went separate ways in January. So it was really cool to see him and reconnect and just like, we had met once before at a Smash camp, but this was a much more intimate, and like we're just gonna have a lot of time face to face. So it was really cool. And so I said hi to him like as soon as I saw him, and he went out of his way to introduce me to just like all of the melee old heads, and just everyone was down to meet people and be friendly. So it was like immediately I kind of got introduced to everyone just by being there and saying hi to Hugs. And then on top of that, there were plenty of other VIPs who I was happy to see, or meet for the first time, even some of them. Husband was there. We spent a lot of time together. A person named Snap, a uh, I believe he's California Game and Watch Melee player. He was there, and he was one of my buds. We palled around, and some other editors even. I ran into Dark Gen X, and we got to connect and play some friendlies and talk about editing and content creation and all that fun stuff. And it was just like countless people, Ringler, it's too many to even say, but I felt like
Right.
every time something was going on, like people were very welcoming and inviting, and like we'd all just go over to the bar next door, or we'd go play some friendlies or just shoot the shit. It was good.
And you didn't get into any bar scuffles yourself, right?
No, I managed to avoid those. No, the bar that we were at, we pretty much ran it the entire time that Summit was going on. It was entirely, you know, comprised of Smash players who were just walking over from the venue. We kind of took over, and that was really cool. It was a really friendly, chill place, and it was just a 2-second walk from the venue. So like everyone was heading out and having fun, and then we'd all head back when the good melee started, and yeah.
So there are rooms where you can watch what's happening live on some of the bigger TVs around, because there were some videos posted during the grand finals, which we'll get to, but there were people just watching and reacting to that, and I was going, okay, so it's not necessarily everyone trying to crowd around the couch, but there are different rooms where you can just watch what's happening live. It's like it's at a bar or whatever, and what happens to be on is melee, which, by the way, would be cool if regular bars actually did that every once in a while. But anyway,
I think
so
that's Xanadu. If you go, they got a bar there.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
So you're watching on one of those then when there's good melee happening. So is it just more or less you figuring out, is something happening? Okay, so I'm going to play some melee now, or I'm going to go back to, well, housing probably wasn't super close. So you were
No,
just
I
be there
pretty much
for,
spent the whole day
yeah.
at the Summit Studio, morning to night, and I would get home pretty late, or they'd come pick me up and we'd go swing by, some fast food chain that we don't have here in Michigan. And like, so yeah, I was long days, but I was always happy to be there and just like hanging out as long as possible. And normally after the day was over, there'd be a big group of people that would all go hang out at some sort of informal after party. One day we went to a barcade, um, played some DDR. It was fun. So there was always something. And
Are,
yeah, like Summit lays out their schedule pretty thoroughly. So like when you're gonna have gaps, when you're gonna be able to go do something else, go play some friendlies, go do whatever, and when you need to be on those beanbags watching the melee. Like the energy in the room, it all funnels towards the viewing station as soon as stuff starts to happen. So
And what about some of the side events like the doubles or basketball, IRL basketball, the obstacle course? Were any of the VIPs able to go outside and see what was going on, or was it just hang
yeah,
out
you could step
inside?
outside and watch and check out the production, but mainly those were the times where people were gonna maybe step away because that's mainly honestly for the stream. Like as far as like all the obstacle course and stuff and all that, like I felt like a lot of the VIPs or the players would take that time to either be warming up or playing or just like having some fun if they weren't involved already, you know.
Right.
People were there for the singles, I think, and I think Summit knows that as well. That's why they didn't run a real doubles event.
Aw, but I do.
Sad. I love doubles.
It's almost obligatory to say I love doubles. Like we'll dunk on it, but then we're like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kidding.
but
We
I love
do.
doubles.
We
Yeah.
do love doubles. We don't
I
have to
played some
get into
doubles.
say that
I
again.
played some doubles. I played some doubles, some friendly
Hey, you
doubles.
want
Like
to
that
play
that was
doubles?
and dubs. Yeah. Anyway,
When you're walking around and you see all the equipment and that kind of stuff, do you ever think to yourself like what it takes for all of that to happen, or are you just strictly trying to be there as a person who enjoys the melee and not approach it from a content creator perspective?
I really did try to enjoy this as a purely vacation, but I wasn't going to cut myself off from, talking shop or thinking about those kinds of things because that's natural for me as well. And there are other editors and stuff, and in fact, um the head of content at Beyond the Summit is someone who I've worked with in the past this year. I did a little bit of freelance contracting for Beyond the Summit, so it was cool to meet him, and he was generous enough to give me a grand tour of the Summit studio and just see what they have going on in stores, and it is an amazing thing to see. I mean, truly, just like for an editor or someone in post production, it was the dream studio. It's NASA. It's mission control. Like this was glorious, and I was deeply interested in learning all about all that stuff and how they put it all together. So you know, that was almost part of the vacation for me too. Like I was getting a tour of that, and I was a kid in a candy store, and yeah, I'm super grateful to have been given such a in-depth tour and seen it all behind the scenes. And that is actually when I got that shirt as well. That
Ooh,
was a
very
gift.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, for being attentive and asking some good questions during the tour, that kind of thing. Do you get a shirt, or is it more of just like you're going to get a shirt regardless?
No, he was like, "Hey man, we got extras. Do you want a shirt?" And I was like, "You bet."
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a whole shipment as a VIP of like all the Summon 11 merch that was being sold in the shop or whatever. So that stuff's all incoming as well. But
That is
also,
so
I also got
cool.
that shirt.
That is so cool. That almost actually makes it worth in a way.
It's
Okay.
probably like 200 and some dollars of the
Yeah,
of the
seriously.
VIP price tag is goes to that merch. Yeah.
That is that is pretty cool. It's always funny when somebody throws in a free t-shirt, all of a sudden the experience becomes like legendary in one's eyes. I wanted to ask you a little bit about just like or no, not ask. I wanted to, for the viewers as well, but also for you, to take you through like my thought process with initially reacting to, oh yeah, Summit does VIP spots where I go, I really want to go, but then I'm in Pennsylvania and it is a little bit of a trip. And sure, there are probably people I could either network through, talk to. Airbnb is always an option. Like I could do this, but then I bought a house in, I would say it was end of June or was it beginning of June, somewhere in that time frame when all this stuff was starting to roll out, and also when the like when it would go on sale and you had to snap it
Mhm.
up. Like you said yourself, the VIP passes were gone in less than 2 minutes. So I
Yeah.
had to think about, well, since the house is going to be a thing, and generally speaking, those are expensive in terms of down payment and closing costs, I probably shouldn't do this. But let the record show, I very much wanted to go. And I just also have to be realistic with myself because I can't, just because I want to do podcasting still and play Melee in tournaments in person and Slippy online, doesn't mean I can automatically just go to every single big event as well. But
It's a
like,
feeling I think a lot of people relate to, just the feeling of missing out or wanting to go because it's always going to be a good time. But as someone who has watched every Smash Summit and wanted to have attended every Smash Summit, this one I said, you cannot miss it. I'm finally in a place where it's like a doable thing for me. The timings were working out, and I was just like, there's no reason that you should not go. Just do it. And I like I when that VIP ticket went on sale, my adrenaline was going crazy, and like I was clicking and clicking, and autofill was helping me out. And when that thing went through, I like laid down on the ground. I was just like, oh my god, like I cannot believe it. And Smash Summit 12 will come around and I will watch the VIP passes sell out and I will feel sad for not being able to attend again. I mean, I'm not going to be able to attend Riptide, Low Tide. I'm hoping to maybe make it to main stage. That's my next one. So it's like every tournament I would love to be in attendance. But yes, there's always stuff that comes in the way. There's life or whatever.
Hmm.
And so, this was just my turn. It was my turn to go.
And I love that, by the way. For the record, you maybe could just like real quick tell the viewers that let the record show I did not pester you incessantly until afterwards to come onto the podcast, as I recall. Or did I do that while you were there? Oh no, I didn't do that
I
while you were.
believe it was after the fact, for
Okay,
the
that's good.
record. Yeah.
Because like
And
it's so
yeah.
cool just to see a big W for you. But then I'm also thinking like it would be so cool to talk to you about it or hear from yourself on the podcast. But I appreciate you being willing to do this. But also, I was trying very hard not to do that while you were actually there or before or whatever.
No, I wouldn't have minded it either way. I mean, like I definitely got a lot of DMs from people who are just like asking about it and want to know what it's like because it only a select handful of people have ever really been VIPs, and there's even a pool that I didn't know about until I got there of people who have attended a majority or like all of the summits. Like there's some people that have been to so many, and there's some people, and then the majority of people who were first timers or never been or whatever. So it's like. Uh, I think, like I don't mind recapping my VIP experience for those who, want to maybe experience that themselves but haven't yet.
And so things are all kind of like, oh, wow, so good to see you. Let's go out to the bar. Let's go do this. Let's do some DDR. It's all kind of cute and cuddly at first, but then it's going to start to get serious now because now we're starting to get into Saturday and then we're getting into
Yes.
Sunday. And so you're also thinking to yourself, this is probably going to be the most intense Sunday scaries that I've probably ever had. So, how are you feeling Saturday going into Sunday?
Absolutely true that the vibe changed throughout the week. Like you go from very casual basketball or obstacle courses to people being eliminated from the most expensive, highest prize pool of all time. I am talking about, thousands of dollars on the line. Forget all that. All the players care about is performing their best, and it is crushing to be defeated. So Saturday rolls around, Sunday rolls around. People are starting to get eliminated from this tournament, and they're just going to be hanging out around the Summit studio after they get eliminated. And it's like, yeah, the whole room is now much more serious. Like things are happening and they matter. And it's like, it absolutely changed, but you also felt it change the deeper and deeper Mango made it in the losers bracket. You just start to feel the energy pick up, and people are starting to get on their feet who were kind of bummed about their loss, or a fan favorite loss or something like that. Like it just everyone started to get really really hyped, and I think this is a similar thing to most top eights, but I think this one in particular, really just like people were going wild because they had not been able to in so long. So it was an insane energy. And yeah, some of the videos that you might have seen on Twitter, I know Axe had a good perspective. He was standing
Yep.
right next to me. Like it was just like people were off their seats, people were going crazy, and uh, you could hear it outside the studio. I'm pretty sure it was so loud.
And you can hear it on the mics because that was something
Yeah.
that the commentators were saying. Like, you can actually hear the crowd chanting for Mango. This is insane.
Players were saying that they could hear him all the way up in the studio room. Like that's a
Yep.
whole floor away, and it's got four walls between it. But we were getting rowdy.
I'm sure that must have been such a blast because, like you were saying, there's a certain way that the bracket could go where the people who have seen their favorite players get eliminated, or if it's the player themselves getting eliminated. And obviously, it's disappointing to lose, but this is like the highest stakes Melee has had in quite some time. And it's been a long time where it feels like this needs to be peak Melee. I mean, there's just been a handful of situations like Genesis and Evo 2013, Evo 2016, like Big House 9, those kind of
Apex
scenarios.
2015.
Sorry?
Apex 2015. Yeah,
Yes,
there's
how
so
could I
many.
forget? Like the tournament that literally got saved overnight, which is insane. But it's Mango that somehow can take the entire mood of a room, of a summit studio, of the whole community, where goes into losers on the early side for sure. I want to say it was winner quarters, but it might have been winner semis against Plup, and now has to go through a lot more sets just to be able to make it back to losers finals, back to grand finals. And by each set, Mango wins, like you were saying, all of a sudden things just
Start to perk.
start to, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So at what point would you say, other than grand finals, through the matches that Mango was playing, would the would it have gotten the most rowdy, or did it just with each
Just
match
kept escalating.
just kept it?
And then of course the grand finals, I mean, the reset itself was just ludicrous energy, and like
Mm,
Mango's doing it all with Fox, which like it was crazy because it's been a long time since we've seen that even, and
yeah,
he is winning games on FD. And I think the nerves of course were evident for all players just because of the money and the stakes, and what it felt like to be playing in the same room as your opponent again. Like these are all things that are kind of new again to Melee. So it was like uh all these things led to this combination of hype where it was people like, there has been better Melee that has been played, but I'm not sure that there has ever been a more like hype, like just exactly what Melee needed at that moment set. So like it was truly special.
I don't, that's a great way to phrase it, but I thought coming out of grand finals after having watched it live, and I'm in my bed trying extremely hard not to wake up Jen,
Scream, yeah.
my, yeah, yeah, my spouse, who is thankfully did not wake up. I would have felt really bad, but it was just so exciting, and I'm lying as still as I can, and I can feel my heart leaping out of my chest watching the grand finals.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I was supposed to be asleep by then, but Mango just kept winning. So I'm like, well, heck, I got to keep watching this. So that's
Yeah,
on me
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I'm just being like mind blown. But I came out of it thinking, was that the best Melee that has ever been played in grand finals? But on the retroactive side, upon watching it again, seeing all the analysis VODs that came out afterwards, of course, everybody was hopping in and analyzing, is this the best grand finals ever, that kind of thing. But like in terms of the Melee itself, you could say, objectively speaking, that Zayn dropped things that he normally doesn't have a habit of dropping, and Mango was able to take advantage of that, and also his seemingly unique. I mean, a lot of times Zayn has said Mango is like the only spacey player that will consistently pressure me and not let me get comfortable. And that was evident again in grand finals for Summit 11. So I'd
Yeah,
like to think of it as pretty good Melee. And I would say in a
pretty
lot of
good.
ways
Yeah.
because of the stakes. Anybody else, or a lot of other people, excuse me, would have definitely melted apart and just resorted to dash attacking a lot, like, using a lot of B moves and smash, the normal nervous Melee stuff. So, way to, like, good stuff to both of them. I thought they both played like fairly well, but of course one player has to win, and it's
They gave
Mango.
us
And
the show of the lifetime, and no matter who wins, like that set, it was perfect, like for what it needed to be.
hmm so we don't need to talk about like comparison to other things, but as this is happening and finals is wrapped up, Mango has told Leffen to do the thing.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to be doing now that it's the last night? Is it pretty much focusing on after party, getting to
Yeah.
bar and getting just absolutely,
Well, Summit throws an after party after top eight. So
ooh,
people hung around the venue, and We all got to have a good time there, and there was chess matches and friendlies going on, and the vibe, of course, is immaculate because we just all got to watch that.
Right.
Like it was a golden hour of just like good vibes and friendly people being cool and just like everyone kind of reminiscing a little bit as well, just on like what a crazy week it had been and how excited we were that Melee was back. Like it was a great, just like the whole group was there. The production staff finally gets to like breathe for a second and hang out as well. Um, so it was just like I was doing that, and then I went and I hung out with my host at the time, and just had a good night with him and his roommates, and then I left the next day,
What is it
home
like
home to
flying back
Michigan.
home? Like you're just like, ah. In many ways, I won't have
Yeah,
those
there's an
kind of feelings again for a long time.
it's an afterglow for sure, and like I do just want to like live in that top 8 for the rest of my life. I'd be perfectly content if it never ended. But yeah, I mean, just coming home, it was just like Smash is the best. Melee's so sick. Like, just excited again. Like, it had been so long since like such raw emotion had been like brought out. So it was just like it was very, very good. And like, still looking back, it's just like best decision I ever made. Like, you like being there. I will talk about that for years. And, I think people will point to Summit 11 for years as like a very pivotal moment for Melee. And I was able to attend. Like, I was just like, it was everything. Like,
There
it
was
was
less
great.
than 100 people there, right?
Within the building, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I
So
mean, 21, 22 VIPs. They said the VIPs sold out so fast, they actually oversold on accident and more VIPs were allowed to attend. Like it was, they weren't prepared for how quickly they were going to be hopped on, I guess. So there was a lot of people there. The staff, of course, great team. They did an amazing job, and they're just running around making sure everything's perfect, taking care of the players, taking care of the tournament, and then the players, the commentators, and the VIPs. It's a very intimate group of people.
and so even with Summit 12 coming in December, it's just something that you look at and go, I wish, but I can't do it every time, right?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see, but I typically am traveling a lot around the holidays anyway, and I will need to be at work, and maybe someone else will get a shot. I think I would love to attend more summits in the future. It's not like I'm fully off, like I've gotten my taste. No, I want more. So it's like I'll be around and I'll be patiently waiting my turn to go again. And I really want to be able to attend Leffen's first summit back. I was so disappointed that he was not able to make it.
Him and
And I want
Pipsqueak,
to
yeah.
go and I want Ginger to be there. Him and I are boys. Like I I wish he made it with all my heart. So it was like there are more things for me to do at Summit as well. And to meet the Summit staff again, like they're just good people. Like they're really cool.
I almost wonder if Summit 12 is the triumphant return of Leffen, and also Pipsqueak has an invite to the next summit as well.
Whatever
That
one he
they're,
can make it to next, yeah.
hmm? Yeah,
Whichever one he can make it to next, they'll both be there. It's a matter of time at this point. I think there are more offline events returning. We'll start to see, the slow creep, and hopefully he's able to come back and, you know, salvage this terrible thing that's happened to him. Like I just want everyone wants to see how Leffen will do. Like he's never had a chance to really show it and then continue to show it. He's always been cut short, and so
yeah,
I'm just
because you'll
waiting.
see things like SmashCon 2019 where absolute dominance, or Evo 2018 absolute dominance, and then something stupid happens.
Hmm. So you know, there's definitely more to see from Melee and more that I think everyone is wanting to prove. And we got to see a lot of cool new faces at this summit. I think for the offline scene anyway. and they all did a great job of performing. So it was like, I don't think I would change anything in hindsight at this point. I
Ex-
can.
Except for doing commentary, right? I couldn't help but remember a tweet that I saw where it's like they wouldn't let me on comms, not even like
They wouldn't let me
casually.
play Mafia. I wasn't allowed to play Mafia with the group. I love Mafia. I play Mafia casually. I play it with Ginger's subgroup, The Nest. Like,
Husband was in Mafia. What's going
people
on?
know who he was in the Smash documentary. People know who Husband is.
He was barely in the Smash documentary. He went to great lengths to say that when he was watching through it earlier this year, which I thought was
Well,
hilarious.
the
That was a
point
great
is,
watch through. Dark
the
Genix
first
was
thing
also
they
good.
asked me, the first thing they asked me is like, "What's your tag? Will people know you?" And I was like, "I mean, I've edited some Hugs videos. Maybe you watched my combo video, but the reality is, they don't know who Echo Storm is. At least until the BSM podcast blows up and everyone realizes, this guy's sick."
Mm.
But I would love to be able to play Mafia with the Summit Cast next time, and I need a little more clout to get in. I may have done a lot of work behind the scenes for Smash, and I may think, like I got it like that. But at the end of the day, I still have less than 700 Twitter followers and no content under my own name. So that's just how it goes.
You're still the content king in my eyes. This is what I need to do. Run something that's somehow better than Summit, doubtful, and then get you in.
Thank you.
That
Thank
very,
you.
very doubtful. I don't know. I want to be at a spot where blow up is probably the wrong word because I don't know if I want a certain level where I'm like getting pestered so much that I can't really think, but I like being where I am now. I'll just put it that way. Like I guess if anybody
Yeah.
has expectations for me like as a spectator going, this is someone who's like fairly new. How long will it take them? How long will it take Jesse to get to a certain spot? But like I try really hard not to think about having to do bigger, better, stronger, faster so much as like am I enjoying this still? I am. I'm having fun. Hopefully you or other people who come on enjoy it. And if anybody happens to watch, that's great too. And I'll be active on the Twitter, but still, I don't know. I don't like to think of it as this must succeed because I feel like if it's meant to be, it'll just happen.
No, that's the correct way to go about it, and it's how I view, my path as well. But the cold reality check was that I'm not able to play Mafia as well as those things being true.
Screw
So,
that. You should have been able to. I'll just say it.
uh,
Should have been able to. That's all I'm
your
saying.
words, your words.
I'll
Yeah,
say it.
yeah.
I'll go on the line. I should have remembered to mention something to Aiden when I had Aiden on. Like, what the heck? You're gonna
Why
do
didn't
this
you
to
let
me?
Echo on?
Why didn't you let Echo? You're gonna
Aiden
wait. Hold
had
on.
it
Hold on.
was, you know
There we
what?
go. You're gonna do this to Echo Storm underscore. Don't forget underscore at the end.
Yeah, I don't blame them. They're running their best possible production, so that's what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
If this was Summit 1, I think they would have let me in. But this is
Mm.
Summit 11, you know. They're a household name. They got shirts. So,
It's nice. It's a nice shirt. I myself will be getting the basic Olympic shirt.
that was my favorite, yeah.
I hope that the
The one.
Olympic ninjas don't come after me. I was severely tempted to get the Falco one though, where it's like a realistic eagle kind of looking Falco,
Hmm.
just colored blue with the golden beak, and I was just trying to decide between that and the regular Summit shirt. But I was like, I'm gonna wear it a lot, and I want people to ask me, "Oh, so it's the Olympics?" And I'll go, "No, it's better." That's the hope. Let me
Yeah.
talk. Can I take a moment to talk to you about one of my favorite hobbies and passions, Super Smash Brothers Melee?
Just don't let them see the basketball free throws. Those are
No,
off
that's part of the
limits.
fun, though. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. It was
Dude,
like 19 or 20 missed straight.
14, but it was ridiculous. Just I could not believe my eyes.
You know what I thought to myself? I thought to myself, I could actually be like one of the best players on that court. And how embarrassing is it for me to think that I'm 5'10" and I'm not super athletic, but I got hustle. I could so outdo some of these effort people, not really actually putting in a whole lot in. But in fairness, they have to keep these safe. They have to keep the hands and fingers safe. I know that there were some injuries, like
Yes.
IBDW had a collision with Mango in the obstacle
Yes.
thing, and there was a few little scrape ups in the basketball games as well. But I mean, hey, that's what it takes to be a champ in basketball at Smash Summit 11.
I would like to think that I might be able to perform, but a fun statistic is like 1 in 4 people think that they can be in the Olympics. Like, it's
Really?
so, yeah, it's like, well, watching the Olympics, everyone thinks I could be better than these people. And then they go and they miss 4 free throws in a row. So,
Oh,
I don't know. It's a funny stat for this very conversation anyway.
that's so funny. Like if I saw somebody wipe out, I would go, I could probably stay on my feet. But if I see Simone Biles do Simone
Yeah.
Biles stuff, I think
Yeah.
to myself, I will never be there, and that's okay. And I'm so happy that another human like Simone Biles exists because we get to see peak performance in that sport, or Michael Phelps, or no, Katie Ledecky, excuse me, Katie Ledecky. I love watching Katie Ledecky swim just because it's like she is so like just so she's built different. I don't know how to phrase it. She's really good with at the 800-meter swims, by the way. Anyway, really cool
Swims.
to see different performances like that. Oh, also for the first time in a really really long time, there's this lady, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, who was running for the United States, and she ran the 800-meter and won, and that was the first time that a United States woman had won that particular event in the Olympics in like 40 or some odd years. It's really cool to see stuff like that. Do you think
I
that
find
Melee
the
will ever be at the Olympics? Can we get there, or is that never going to happen?
I think the Olympics can have their Olympics. Maybe there's an esports Olympics one day, but at the end of the day, it would just be like a bunch of different games running tournaments or invitationals alongside each other. Like, I don't know. It'll take a while, but in the meantime, I'm fine with us having our Smash Summit themed Olympic events. I can live with that.
Yes. There is still obviously a lot going for us in regards to grassroots, so we don't necessarily need big, fat corporations to come in and try to run things. So, yes, for now, I do like kind of the setup that we have going. And so we are getting into the late 40s in terms of time here. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I was sort of aiming for an hour, but how are you doing right now?
I'm good. Yeah, we can start to maybe work towards some finishing line of questioning if you're down for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about what you've been doing with Fatality Falcon. We have recapped Summit 11. We talked about future stuff. So there's not really a whole lot other than perhaps other than what you want to see out of Melee towards the end of the year. There's sort of this slow build that I think we've been having since January. Not that there've been intentional conversations, but when I have people on, I usually ask about what do you think about Melee turning 20, and I might have even asked you this the last time you were on, but Melee does turn 20 this year officially in December. Since it's 2001, 2021,
Yes.
you get it. And since you're in the business of content creation, I think it's a great question to ask you, even if I asked you it last time. I just can't remember off the top of my head, so I apologize. But there just seems to be some conversations starting to happen, or that's what I'm sensing anyway, with what will be going down towards the end of the year and how it's going to be celebrated. For one thing, Smash Summit 12 will be happening the first or second weekend of December. The whatever the weekend is that Mango turns 30, and he's already talking about being like, they have to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm not coming, which I think would be hilarious if he didn't go to a tournament he had just won back in July. But he'll be there. He'll
He'll
be
be there. He'll be
yeah.
there. 100 years of Melee. I 20 is, I think it's an amazing milestone and achievement. I don't think we're getting old. I feel like we're entering a new age of, it's a renaissance. Like we are in a better spot than ever. We finally realized that we don't need Nintendo. We have all these amazing things going for us, be that grassroots tournaments, which are having record-setting prize pools, beating out real games with real support. We have the Slippy devs continuing to revolutionize how we play the game, and you know, really just bringing the community together during this dark time. And I think we're stronger for it. Like we have this new wave of people competing at the summit who have only placed well online, and now they're here and they're dominating the offline scene as well. Like we have so much juice left. Like we're gonna be just fine, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And I'm gonna be here. You know, there's gonna be other people here with me, and while I may have felt limited by Melee's ability in the past to be a game that has support and can support its lifelines, I truly believe that things are going to be getting better for the game in that sense over the next year or two or three, and it's going to be awesome. We got new creators on the rise. We got new platforms giving a new light to new viewers. Like
Let's go, Zets.
Melee, Let's Go Zets. Like it's the scene is just going to continue to go up, and like I'm not threatened by other fighters. I'm not threatened by new Smash games. The only thing that will kill Melee is if the people who passionately support it run out. But Melee has the best defense in the world against that by being the sickest game made ever. And it will never run out of passionate people. So it's just like we're going to
That
be here for 100 years.
I love hearing that, but that does make me think of the newest challenger. What if that there is a legitimate competitive juice that Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl has? What if that actually is what it promises to be? The developers are saying we want rollback netcode and we want to have multi-platform support like the PC, like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever the hecking number is, and they want to make it a competitively viable game because they've been commissioned to do so. But I think to myself, part of the challenge of that will be the fact that the people who have given them permission to do so is Nickelodeon, which also overall presents a more family-friendly
Nintendo
aspects.
all over again.
So I wonder if after a year or two, Nickelodeon goes, all right, shut it down. I mean, we've had our fun. We've sold most of the units that we're ever going to sell on the game, so it's time to move on now. But then leaves behind a bunch of people who are like, I can't play any other game now because I get to play as Avatar Korra, or I get to play as,
They
I
might be in
mean,
the same spot.
yeah. But I do wonder, after the initial like month or two of everybody playing the game on stream and putting it on YouTube and riding the algorithm. I mean, I didn't even intentionally do this. I put the title in the YouTube video that I made with Firepuff 12 where we reacted to the announcement and other things as well. That but it wasn't like the entire podcast. We talked about a bunch of stuff, but I thought I bet if I put the name All-Star Brawl into the title of this video, it'll do well. And lo and behold, it did. But
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that
it's got
means
some hype.
that people are going to get behind it. So you've seen this much more than I have. I've only seen it happen with Ultimate, and even that is insane just to think that a game that has sold as much copies as Ultimate has, that Melee has been able to thrive even still, despite the fact that maybe Ultimate beats Melee at Ultimate Summit 3. The prize pot is bigger now than Melee's prize pot was, but it doesn't matter because Melee is doing just fine. But what will All-Star Brawl do you think, other than what I've already brought up?
I don't view them as competitors, really. I think it will not replace Melee because it is not Melee. The people who love Melee and are top 100 players or new players getting into the scene, that's not it. Perfection has already been achieved in their own eyes. Like PM is the closest thing to ever, well, Brawl initially was the closest thing that Melee ever had to a real death, and it bounced back very quickly because the Melee players who loved Melee for what it was realized that it wasn't exactly the same, or it wasn't even close. And then PM came around, and it kind of got close to dwindling Melee's numbers a little bit. But then obviously things went wrong with PM, and you know, everyone returned to Melee, and they realized that this is where they want to be. I don't think we'll ever see another game first ever get near Melee in terms of what the Melee players who appreciate it for are looking for. I think that's just the most important thing here. Like, no game is going to drop that's a platform fighter, and like Mango or Ginger or IBDW or Leffen are going to be like, yeah, I'll just play this now. Like, Ultimate didn't even make a scratch, and if anything, like, it brought a new scene into Melee's view. Like, it's a gateway drug. Like, we're just like, we're gonna be here, and other things are just happening around us. Nickelodeon might get run at Smash tournaments. Like, the pros will probably be very good at it. We'll probably see some rivals pros good at it. Like, it's it's gonna have that draw or whatever, but Melee has a 20-year-old skeleton at this point, and it has so many layers of depth where there are levels of support, and that just doesn't happen because you have developer support. That doesn't just happen. Like, it is an anomaly of gaming, and for that reason, nothing like that concerns me. It doesn't even cross my mind that Melee would be hurt or negatively impacted by these new games.
That's
Even
awesome.
if they have developer support, even if they're rollback, even if they got wave dashing. That's a meme. People like Melee for more than just wave dashing, let me tell you. Like,
Yes, because that was my temptation at first, or what I had thought for a long time. And then just the more you learn, the more you watch, the more apparent it becomes that it's still something that even now new advancements to the game are happening, and it's not like the quote unquote early days where there wasn't as many resources on the internet, there wasn't as much going on social media because it was barely existing back in 2001, back in 2005, and so on. There have been people who tried to tear this game apart and turn down to the code of like what is going on, and even still, just the fact that it's so fast and that there's so many different things that you can do, ways to control your character, how you can play defense, how you can play offense, and how the characters themselves, while not being like perfectly balanced, it's amazing to me that there are more than like one or two characters that are still capable of going far in brackets, and that there are players who can form identities around those characters, and the fact that there is players who have been playing for over 10 years, 15 years, and are still making waves even today, or players like Husband who have been playing slightly longer than 15 years. It doesn't matter. It's so cool. So yes, I like what you said, and I am very much hoping that that is true. I do get like the occasional thought of like, are we gonna be okay? But I really think I'm just
you'll
overthinking
see.
it.
You'll see. Just watch.
Keep watching Melee. Let's
Keep
go.
watching Melee, yeah.
And with that, I don't have anything else. So I wanted to just real quickly, since I was thinking about it, credit Ultimate for giving birth to one of the best 10 sub notifications. 10 subs right now. The mango
Right,
10 subs. Yeah, that was
yeah.
great. That's hilarious. And also, I want to give credit to you for doing something that you've finally been able to do for the first time. It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of commitment just to be able to get there. But I'm so glad that it paid off for you in a lot of ways, that it was everything you were hoping it would be. It's just so rare to have something like that happen where, oh, yes, this is exactly how I thought it was going to be in all the positive
Yeah.
ways. So I'm so happy that it worked out for you that way, Echo, and for coming on here and talking about it with me. So I want to make sure that you can tell the people where they can find you, how to support you, all that fun stuff.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure as well, and I'm happy to be able to recount my memories here on the podcast. I hope I might inspire a new person to buy that Summit 11 VIP or Summit 12 VIP pass. Cypher wink. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Echo Storm, or under Fatality's account. You can find me on Twitter if you look up Echo Storm, and you can find me on Twitch if you look up Echo Storm. Don't worry about the hashtags or the underscores or the exclamation points. There's only one Echo Storm, and that's me. So you can follow me there.
I love it. One more time, Echo Storm. Thank you so much for coming on. Bottom of the Smash Mountain.
Thank you.